Welcome everyone to Procrastiknitting. It's procrastinating and knitting. Procrastiknitting. It's a portmanteau. It's also a podcast where we talk about knitting, of course. We talk about the creative process. We talk about life. We talk about friends. We talk about the world. But mostly we talk about knitting.
You're doing it, babe. You're doing it.
We're doing it. Stick around. You just might learn a thing or two.
But you probably won't. But actually, you probably might. Okay.
You just might.
You just probably might. And that's good grammar, actually. So don't.
It's great
don't
grammar. You just might. You mightn't. You mustn't. You must. And you shall. You won't. Just last night I saw that a dear friend of ours wrote a little review for us on Apple Podcasts, and guess what? After only 2 episodes at the time of the writing of the review, our little catchphrase, which we shall repeat, you just might learn a thing or two.
But you probably won't.
She actually wrote it at the end, and she said, everyone should listen to this podcast. You just might learn a thing or two. And a few days later, we were asked when the merch would be available. The merch that said, you just might learn a thing or two. And I said, stick around. We just might learn a thing or two about how to screen print t-shirts over the course of this knitting podcast. Who knows what we might dabble into.
We've already learned so much. We've already learned so much getting this thing out into the internet. There was a lot more to it than I thought there would be, you know?
I thought we could just show up and do what we always do, which is chat about knitting, life, how I knitted a Mobius strip, and help. What do I do? Every, little thing. But actually, you can do that part, and then you have to do a lot more so that all the many listeners can actually hear us talk about these things. There's a lot to think about.
I know.
And we hope we're doing it right for you guys. Please don't hesitate to give us feedback if you know what you're doing in this realm. We'd love to hear it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Elyssa, it's so nice to see you.
It's really nice to see you too, Lydia.
It's always so nice to record.
I just want to take a moment to stop because my door is opened and my cat has let himself in.
I thought I heard a funny sound.
Yes. For a moment I was like, who is trying to get into my studio?
Oh my God.
And it's Duda. Here he is, for those of you watching. Okay, Duda, don't go on the knitting.
Okay.
Anyway, so it's nice to see you. Are you comfortable?
I'm getting comfortable.
How's your neck?
I woke up with a stiff neck. But I'm fine. It just made me a little grumpy. But
how can it not? It's the worst.
On. Yeah.
It hardly does with a stiff neck. Duda's really just pressing into my back. It's very sweet. I'm gonna try to ignore him for a few minutes, and if I can't ignore the tail, that's
oh my God! Right. It's actually really funny.
So,
like I would hate that, but it's very funny for me to see it happen to you.
Anyway,
okay. Great.
Here we are. I'm so sorry about your neck, and please let me know if you need anything since you're just in the next room.
Yeah, here's a little behind the curtain little peek, is that it's actually a little, you would think it would be easier to just sit down and record in the same room. But guess what? It's not. So even though we're in the same apartment today, I am in Violet's bedroom. And Alyssa's in her room.
Yeah.
And so we're near, but we're far. And we're making it work. So anywho.
Having said that.
Well, should I give you a little update on my port jacket? Should we talk
Please
knitting?
do.
So over the weekend, first of all, don't get your hopes up. Secondly, over the weekend, I went to Brooklyn General Store, which is an amazing craft store here in Brooklyn, and if you ever have the chance, you should definitely go. They are a combination yarn store and fabric sewing store, and they also sell notions and lotions and potions.
They also have a very fun, cheeky social media presence and
Yeah,
vibe.
a great social media follow. And you know what else? They've got a great bathroom.
Amazing. I didn't know that.
Smells great, cute decorations, like great. Highly recommend.
I was watching them do parkour in their around their studio the other day.
Yeah, it's a very silly Instagram. It's great. So on Sunday I went to Brooklyn General Store with my 4-year-old, and together we picked out buttons. He was not really very happy with my choice, I will say. He was like, I can't believe you're not getting something more sparkly. And I said, I know. Like, I'm sorry. Also, if they, like, can I catch this? Very cute pouch of buttons.
Do the influencer, do the like behind the hand to...
Here they are. If you're watching the video.
Very cute.
Cute.
Very cool.
Yeah. We put it in little, I think this kind of envelope is called a glassine, but I'm not sure. With a little branded sticker.
Slightly translucent. Yeah,
so
very cute.
Anyway, I think these buttons are made of shell, but I'm not sure. But they're not mother of pearl. They're this sort of interesting, they almost look like pewter. Okay. Like, they are gray, sort of matte, like gunmetal gray, I'd say. And
the tie-dye pewter, when I lay it down, if you do it wet, it's going to come like a silver grayish, but when you do it ice dye, it breaks and you see there's of depth. Yeah, they have a great, like, very curated button selection. So it's not like hundreds of options so you're overwhelmed, but really nice. They have like a few silly ones, like there's a frog, there's a rocket ship, and then there's also like beautiful abalone, beautiful mother of pearl. They kind of run the whole spectrum, and not too many options, like just the right amount. And so that was delightful. I don't know if you experience this, like if I go into a yarn store or a fabric store or craft store, right? And I'm like, okay, I just got to get these buttons. But then I'm there like, well, I don't want to just get buttons, right? Like I'm sorry. You don't know if I experienced this? Was that for the audience's sake, Lydia? Because I feel you do know that I experienced this. Yeah.
Correct.
Sure.
So you know. Yeah. So I'm standing there like,
I
can't possibly leave this store with just one tiny envelope of 5 buttons for a grand total of $6. Surely there's something else in here that I desperately need. And I'm just walking around in this store, staring at everything, touching everything. But at the same time, I have a lot of yarn and I don't want to just buy something completely random. So anyway, I only bought the buttons, but I still feel a little bit wistful about that. I did kind of want to buy yarn, and I showed the pattern to a woman who was working there who was very helpful and very warm and kind. But in a spring or summer pattern roundup that I posted on our Instagram recently,
I saw.
There is a top called Mantaray tank, maybe. Obviously, I'll put it in the show notes. It's so pretty. It's I think it's like a spaghetti strappy kind of tank top. Yeah. And if I understand correctly, which I might not, but the back is one panel, like a rectangular panel down the back. And then the front panel has a different kind of shape. Imagine like a rectangle with triangles on each side. I don't know what that shape is called.
Sure. I guess a manta ray shape, because that's kind of what they look like.
And then there are ties at the point, and you wrap that around the back, so it becomes this like really fitted, nice top. And they have it in this really pretty, like the sample is shown in this really pretty sort of Mantaray color, which is this pretty gray, which is also very appealing. And it's a free pattern, but for whatever reason, they don't state like a recommended yarn.
Oh.
I don't know if maybe the one that they knitted in, maybe that yarn is discontinued, something I have personal experience with, or if something else, but it's an Aran weight yarn, which also seems strange because that's like a pretty thick yarn if you're knitting a summer garment.
Yeah.
So when I showed it to the woman at Brooklyn General, she was like, what? I don't know. And she did show me like a really nice option of yarn, but to get enough for the project, it would have just been a little out of my price range. So I just couldn't go for it. But it was this really cool yarn that was mostly cotton with like a little hint of yak.
Ooh.
Yak fiber.
Do you remember the name of the yarn?
No, unfortunately. But, yeah, I'll try to figure it out. If I find it, I'll put it in the show notes too. So anyway, all that is to say, I left almost empty-handed, which, I don't know, it's so silly, right? I should be like, yeah, I'm a discerning shopper, but I was like, no, I wanted more new stuff.
It's tough. It's tough in there. The vibe is immaculate, and it's a lot of like wood and colors organized. That the people who run it have a really nice sense of color too. So the way things are laid out is very appealing. And then in contrast to my other favorite yarn store, really the only other one that I can shop at close to me, which is like more poppy in its color scheme. It's very like bright white and pink and red and like light and bright. Brooklyn General Store gives more of this like apothecary vibe. Like there's wooden, like a lot of wood, a lot of like wooden tables, wooden shelves.
There are woodland creatures.
Right, yeah. My
It's more
grandfather
folksy.
it's folksy, totally. It's like, it seems like a store that would be on Main Street in a town 100 years ago, or, you know, and run by the family, and it's nice. It's cool.
Yeah.
I went in, and like there are things in every nook and cranny, and I went there to get some felt for a Halloween costume when I tried to make Gumby for Violet for Halloween, which, wow, that's bonus content, how I managed to do that. Cutting apart a flotation device of some kind and stuff, but they did not have the felt, but I ended up going home with several different kinds of sharps, like different types of needles. I ended up going home with a silk embroidery floss in the most beautiful color. Getting some great recommendations on very fine, of course I can't think of the name. It's a very well known in the sewing world. I think it starts with an A, but it's a very, very fine Italian thread. That was recommended for when I was going to do some stitched shibori on the silks that I was dyeing over last holiday season. My grandiose dreams of actually like spending 1 month stitching up all these silks and doing this beautiful shibori, which, you know, I could have done if I had several months more lead time. But anyway, I have all the equipment for that, so I could do it as my next project once I figure out how to sew these 4 front panels of pants together into one real pair of pants. Is it possible? We'll find out.
It's all there waiting for you. When you're ready, it's ready. And that's a nice thing.
Yeah.
That's a nice thing. How's your knitting going?
I've been working on the Sophie Hood mainly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so pretty already.
Yeah. I would say, hold on, let's grab it.
It's a big project. I think it's like a deceptively big project. I feel like to be like, oh, I'm just going to knit this hood, but it's actually like a hood and a big shawl. It's huge. A lot of knitting. How many, do you remember, like, do you know how many yards of yarn are called for this
I had
project?
to get, I think it's 600. It's big.
So that's like half a sweater.
And the thing is, like, it's a lot of counting. Boy, oh boy. It's a lot of counting. You don't think it's hard to count. it's not the counting that's problematic. It's just the turning of the counter. It does it counting for you, but you can't ever really get in a full zone. So what I've...
Yeah. Public service announcement, briefly. Public service announcement. People will tell you that the Sophie Scarf viral knitting project, or the Sophie Hood even, but especially the scarf, people will like list that as a beginner project, and I beg to differ. I think that it is not. I mean, an ambitious beginner, if you want to try it, of course, be my guest. But it's like, and it's lovely. I've knit one, go for it. But it's tricky. It's fiddly. And there are other easier projects that will, for a very beginner knitter, will give you like a very similar finished project with maybe a more enjoyable knitting process. So that's my PSA.
I'm actually wondering why exactly. So you say fiddly, and especially wondering because it was the second thing I ever knit.
Yeah.
But of course, I did have you. I did have you to help me with the knit front to back, and you made me a little video. But because my thing of why it's not beginner friendly is like, and this is what the memes say, right? Like, the one thing I learned from knitting the Sophie Scarf, ... I can't count to 8. Like, and that's the thing, right? It's like, it should just be so simple. But what is it to you as a seasoned knitter that can look at that pattern and clock what a new knitter may have trouble with? Because it's a very viral pattern. And people do, and there's thousands of projects. And
thousands. Like, I want to see how many have been posted to Ravelry, because it's got to be so many. Thousands.
Also, while you're looking, if you want to keep looking, I'll just show and tell. So for those watching, here's the hood that I'm working on now, and I would say it's, I don't know, maybe I would say it's like 16 to 18 inches. It's pretty long. It no longer resembles a thong. Thank you very much. And unfortunately, the very first one I knit is downstairs in my car, because you just never know, even on a 99-degree day, when you might get a little chilly neck, so I carry it with me. And that one was the Sophie Scarf. The difference is that the construction of the scarf, you work it the exact same way, but then when you get a certain width in a middle point, or when you get to the middle of your amount of yarn, you then start decreasing, so you get this pretty gentle sloping scarf that comes to a gentle little point and then trails down. And with the hood, you actually do a similar thing, but you're continuing all the way up and separating at the back so that you come together, and then you can like join in the back, so you make a hood that also has this beautiful long tail that you can wrap around.
It's very romantic. It's so
it
cute.
really is. It is. Very much so. My first one had visible issues, but small. Visible to me, but really it was around the I cord. So is that the part that you think is fiddly?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Sophie Scarf has, and the hood, that you work a built-in I-cord edging as you go. And certainly after a while you get the hang of it, but I think setting up for it is very confusing. I remember the wording of the pattern to be kind of like, what? Like, I started one when the pattern first came out in like this white cashmere that I had for some reason, and I never finished it. I knit like 5 inches maybe and was like, I still don't get this. Like, I mean, and that's maybe a me problem, but I had already been knitting for like at least 10 years at that point. So but it just was not clicking for me.
I wonder if it wasn't clicking for me either at all, and you were the one who made it click for me, and it was so simple, but I never, as a new knitter, would have done it because I felt so precious about everything that was on my needle. and I didn't know, and I still kind of don't know, what is like foundational or a substantial like part of how the knit or the purl or whatever that stitch is, how it's getting formed, how the garment's getting formed. So I don't really want to mess with it. But what you did that completely changed my experience of knitting this the first time was, as you're knitting the I-cord, especially down at the bottom, you can't see a gosh darn thing about what's going on. It just looks like a bunch of like clumpy knit.
It's so confusing when you start.
You took my needle with its little 1 inch of jumble on the bottom, and you grabbed the stitches and you pulled them down. You tugged and pulled and gave them a little wiggle, and they settled in. The I-cord like created itself that way instead of like bunching up.
Yeah.
And it was the moment when I was like, oh my God, I get it. I see what I'm knitting. I could not figure it out. I was like, what am I making? I'm just knitting inside other stitches.
Yeah, it's so weird when you start it.
The other thing is, if it falls off the needle, I have just barely figured out how to put any stitches back on the needle.
God.
Like a regular stitch. I'm like, is it right? Is it twisted? I can't do it. The I-cord, I've ripped this actual one out 2 times because the I-cord slipped off and I couldn't get it back on. So
yeah. Well, hey, do you want to guess how many Sophie Scarf? So this is just the scarf, not including the hood.
Yeah.
How many scarves have been knit and like the person, how many project pages there are on Ravelry. So that's not even how many have actually been made. I remember there was like an estimate that like a quarter of, I don't know, whatever. We could
like if you start a project on Ravelry, that doesn't imply it's finished.
You
it can
create
be
a
in
project
progress.
page for it, right? Well, and my point is that so many of these have been made and nobody ever creates a project page for them. So the real number of how many of these things has been made is,
yeah, because I didn't start a project page for this one or the other one. Yeah,
we're not huge Ravelers. I mean,
so I'm gonna take a guess. I would guess. All right, so like 1,200.
So many more.
So many more.
So many more.
Like 7,000.
52,000.
What? 52,000?
Yeah.
52,000 projects? And that's just the ones we know of, not counting my 2. So 52,002, in fact.
Exactly. It doesn't. Yeah. Isn't that wild?
52,000. So it truly is like viral.
Yeah.
It's an enjoyable knit so here's when I'm working on it. I'm not working on it. It's my travel project. Because when I take the subway, I can't zone out into this big whatever, or I can't focus really hard on charts or whatever. Not that I even know color work, but what I can do is I know I have time for knitting 1 row or 2 rows. And I'm not distracted by watching TV, so I'm not moving my counter. So I keep it in my purse, and it's become like my bus ride, subway ride, waiting to pick up Violet at the thing ride. Because if you knit 2 rows, because you see the progress so much more. 2 rows on this is like, oh wow, 2 whole rows. Yeah. So that's it.
And this is a great, I will say, in its favor, it's a great project if you have like your one special ball of yarn, right? Like maybe you went on vacation, maybe you got a gift, you have this beautiful special ball of yarn that makes you feel a special kind of way and you don't know what to make with it. You can make the Sophie Scarf because, if you have a kitchen scale, because you weigh the yarn before and then you knit all the way until you've used half the yarn and increasing, and then when you're halfway through your ball, you start your decreases, and you can use the whole ball however much you have. And so that is, we all, like, we need those kinds of projects because we all have, have those special balls of yarn that are precious, and if you don't have the right project for it, it just sits in your basket forever and never gets made into anything, and that's really sad. Mm-hmm. So make it just a little cute little scarfie that you wear all around the town and enjoy. Yeah. So I I was thinking about this today because I am thinking about knitting all the time. It's like constantly running through my brain is like knitting.
You know, can I affirm something for you?
Yeah.
I think you might have just found the exact right line of work for yourself, Lydia.
I know. Can you believe it?
Have you ever thought about starting a podcast on knitting? You could just talk about it all day.
I did think about starting a podcast about knitting. So this is my dream come true. I'm doing it right now. What is, so Elyssa is a newer knitter. She's been knitting since about October. You knew how to knit a little bit before that, but you really started in October. And I've been knitting for many a year. So as more of a baby knitter, which I say with love, obviously, what is like your next technique or knitting skill or something that you are like excited to dig into more?
Colorwork.
Colorwork, right?
Stranded colorwork.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know what I mean when I say that.
No,
is there
I
any
think
other kind of colorwork besides stranded? It's Intarsia.
Well, there's Intarsia, and then like I think there is in the knitting community a little bit of a push to say stranded colorwork rather than using Fair Isle as a blanket term for like all stranded colorwork, because Fair Isle actually refers to like a very specific style of stranded colorwork that comes from this specific region of the UK. I don't remember. Not a knitting scholar. I'm just an enthusiast. So, so for a while, I feel like people would just say like, it's Fair Isle. It's Fair Isle knitting.
And they would mean
right.
color.
But now there is like a little bit of a push to be like, if when we say Fair Isle, let's actually mean Fair Isle. And if it's something else, let's say colorworks or stranded colorwork. And that is more of like a broad blanket.
And is that
term?
Does it refer to like only like the yoke of a sweater, or can it be throughout an entire garment? Is it only in sweaters? Is it only in? I mean, can you do color work in scarves?
Oh
sure.
yeah. It's very broad. Very broad.
Okay, so like
anything
color blocking, that's different because you're just changing yarns. That's not what we're talking about here.
Sure.
Like if you're going to do a stripe or a stripe.
Stripes, yeah.
Different.
Yeah.
So color work, stranded color work would be what I see when I see, these let lopey designs with these gorgeous like copper and black and white and turquoise and I love it. Heirloom sweaters. They look like heirlooms.
Yeah.
My mom has one from Greece and she still has it, and it's just like, I'm like, please, it's got to be passed down and down and down and down. It's so gorgeous. That is what I desperately want to learn. I feel like I tried to pick up my Vogue Stitch Dictionary or my Japanese Bible of Japanese stitches. And I thought maybe the next thing I would learn, since I had these two physical books in front of me. Yeah. And I fancy myself a scholar, even though I really enjoy going deep into something. Like, what is it all about? Like, Fair Isle, let me learn.
Yeah, you
or
love
this,
a deep dive.
I love a deep dive.
You want to go all the way down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, really. I really do. I find my treasures there. And then, so I thought, because I had these books, like, well, that would be the thing for me. And I sat down with the books and I felt self-sufficient, like I could try it. And, I picked up my, like, basic worsted weight single color yarn, and I picked a few little designs, whatever they were called. In hindsight, I probably should have gone with, they're listed like difficulty level. I picked some kind of crazy ones, but
okay.
But I sat on my couch for a couple of nights and I thought, okay, I'll knit like a 4x4. I'll just try to do, Ching Fibers has like a new Stitch Sunday thing that they run where they open their book, they show you what they're going to knit, and it's like a pattern, right? It's lace work, or it's cables, or it's this, or it's that. Wow, and then they try the new one. It's so cool. I look forward to it every Sunday. Yeah. And they make it look effortless, of course, but they knit their little swatch with the one or two examples of the motif. And the one I tried, I'll pull up a thing of it and show. I mean, this isn't live. I could actually just go get it right now and show you, and then you could see it, and I could talk about it. It's really crazy.
Yeah,
do you want me to?
it.
It's kind of
Sure.
cool. Hold on. 1 second. Yeah. Okay, so I'm back. Here's my very first time trying Wendy Bernard's The Ultimate All-Around Stitch Dictionary. Okay? Cool. Apparently, this book was very anticipated when it came out because my understanding is that Wendy Bernard was the first person to publish a stitch dictionary book that gave instructions for knitting flat as well as in the round.
Oh, my God.
So when it says the ultimate all-around stitch dictionary, prior to this one, again, come at me for real if it's not right, but that is what I remember reading in the introduction and in my research. So, which is a big deal because, yeah, if you're knitting a garment and you want to have these beautiful patterns, like, and you're knitting it in the round, you want to be able to do it without having to do all that applied mathematics. Like,
oh my God.
Or what do you even do? You like mirror image the chart? I don't even know. So anyway, I'm gonna hold it up, but
like for texture, I just can't even begin to.
Yeah, it's a lot. So here it is. The one I tried, I'm going to hold it up and I'm going to describe it too. It's called the Indian Cross. Okay, so it's absolutely intricate beyond. I don't know, Lydia, if you can see what's happening here. There's like 4 stitches going across and like 4 behind.
Wow.
It's so interesting. We'll post it up. Lydia will put it in the show notes, but it's... Yeah. You knit 4 rows, and then on your 5th row, you wrap the yarn 4 times around the thing. And then you repeat. And then on the very next row, you slip 8 stitches with the yarn in the back, and you drop all the extra wraps that you did. Then you insert your left needle into the first 4 slipped stitches and pass them over the second 4 slipped stitches, returning the second 4 stitches to the left-hand needle, and then knit all 8 stitches in their new positions.
Oh, that's freaky.
It was so freaky. It was so cool. Totally should have waited until, like, you and I, at least just the 2 of us, were in a room together, if not, like, 2 or more of our other friends, to, like, actually say out loud what was happening, because you're reading it in a book and you're like, what? Yeah. So anyway, I did try it.
I love that. That's so
found
cool.
it fun. Intimidating a little bit, but fun intimidating. Like where the kind of intimidating where you feel your brain like expand a little and you're like, whoa, I'm like, if I keep down this path, I think I'm really going to learn a thing or 2.
Yeah.
I just might. I just might.
And I think that's like really the right way to go about just like casually, just try a new thing, make a little swatch. I remember doing that a lot when I was a newer knitter. I would just be like, how do cables work? Let me just make a swatch. It's not for anything, but the joy of the craft, man.
Joy of the craft. And like, gosh, the joy of like, when you figure it out, even if it looks weird, you're like, oh, I get it. I understand now when I see that in a pattern, somebody's telling me to wrap a stitch this many times. Something inside me understands that the end goal is either this or this, right? It's either going to be a dropped stitch or it's going to be this and you start to understand, like, then you can look at it just like a music person or a cinephile. They can like hear a most obscure line from a movie and just be like, oh, that's Scorsese, or hear a little drum beat and say like, oh, that's like Jimmy Chamberlain, Pumpkins. You know what I mean? I want to be able to do that with knitting. I want to be like I look at a knit and I'm like, oh, cables on da-da-da-da. Oh, looks like a size 5 gauge.
You can do it.
You know what I mean? Like,
You've got the temperament for it. You're going to get there. Like, if that's your goal, you're going to get there for sure.
Not to be a weirdo and to walk up to someone, stranger, and say, like, hey, would you use size 5 DPNs on those?
God.
But
that is for real, though. Like, I will be... you know, like on the subway or just out in the world, and if somebody walks by me with like a very interesting sweater, I just find myself being like scanning. I'm looking at it. What is it? Is this hand knit? No. But what fiber is that? Yeah, and like what is that shape and what is going on here? And it's hard for me to like.
Can you tell if it's certainly hand knit? Like, do you know that it's hand knit in those moments?
I usually can tell if something is hand knit.
And like, what percentage of the time are you asking them? Like, hey,
you know, it's a tricky question because, okay, like for example, one time I asked this woman like, "Oh, is that a hand knit sweater?" And she was like, "No," but I recognized the yarn. Okay, it was like Manos del Uruguay.
My favorite.
Manos del Uruguay.
Hold on, ready? Manos del Uruguay.
Oh my god!
I don't know. Let's try it out.
Thank you so much. Let's just say it's a Manos yarn, and it's their like classic thick and thin. It's hand spun by a women's collective.
I love their
and
yarn.
It was one of my favorite yarns when I first started knitting for some reason. It's like it's pretty rustic, but I just knew, again, this is so dorky, but like I knew their color palette. Like I knew what they're, you know, because they have some that are sort of like tonal. So you can recognize it. And this woman was like working at an art gallery and she had this little sweater on, and anyway, I think she didn't, so somebody probably did hand knit this thing, right? But I don't think she loved being asked if she knit this sweater because she probably paid a lot of money for it.
Yeah,
right?
so I was gonna say
it was like a fashion garment.
Well, Manos del Uruguay has, well, that's an option, I guess, too. But I know that because I got obsessed with them and I went down a rabbit hole on their whole website and their whole collective, and the whole thing is so amazing with the women and everything. They do have a shop where you can buy handmade garments, shawls that are woven. Some are woven,
right.
Some are knitted, but I think I remember sending it to you guys in the group, like, are these woven or knitted? Is this Intarsia? And like, I think you were like, oh, that looks like it's loom woven. But so they do sell garments at a very high price because, right, they are handmade. Yeah. It's possible maybe they were selling like a sweater, not an accessory, but an actual sweater, and bought it from them, but then was like embarrassed that she spent $600 on it or something.
Maybe. I mean, who knows, right? Know. So yeah, so like, you know,
it's kind of like asking people about their tattoos. You're like, hey, what does that tattoo mean? People are like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Or I don't know, like I was wearing a hand knit sweater once and it was like one of the first sweaters I had knit, and it did look a little handmade, but someone was like, oh, is that a hand knit sweater? No offense, or something. And I was like, well, offense taken.
Offense taken now. I was about to be like, yes, thank you for asking. It is. No.
I know. So anyway, it's like a loaded question is my point.
I guess so. I didn't think about it like that.
I know. I mean, that's kind of sad, right? But I think for a lot of people, if they are hand knitting, the goal is to like make it look like store-bought, or I don't know, even sort of couture, like, I mean, I don't know, you know. And if you're wearing something that's store-bought, you don't necessarily want somebody to come up and be like, is that handmade? Or
yeah, because then you're feeling bad about yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe you're feeling bad. Well, I don't know. Or should I be?
No, it shouldn't be a big deal, but I just... Anyway, so all that is to say, no. I've mostly stopped asking people if their stuff is like hand knit, unless I really know for sure, you know. So yeah, whatever. But
so color work. Oh yeah.
And I gave you a little Intarsia lesson the other day.
You did.
But it was kind of disjointed because we were having like a picnic and there were like 7, or I don't know, it felt like there were about 25 children there, but I think it was only 5.
It was 5 children, and it was also one new person who maybe some of us had met but not talked too much, so it did feel like, okay, we're trying to also like be aware if there's a new person in the group, and like we're polite, engaging with them. We don't want to just
our manners.
Yes, it was a mom. Gotta be respectful elders.
Yes, we do. Of course we do.
Have you seen the Intarsia that I came up with?
No, do you want to show me?
It's right behind me.
I'd love to see it.
Okay. Now I'm just going to hold it up and show you. So I used, these are all wool of the Andes, like from Knit Picks, I think, a persimmon, a diving pool, just some blues, some greens, some reds, whatever. Then I got this thought, like, I'm going to try to do the letter E inside. E for Elyssa. E for exciting. I'm learning Intarsia. E for eclectic piece of knitting. Anyway, I swiftly realized that was opening up a whole new element of like how I'm doing this that I didn't understand. So then I put it aside. Well, and we'll continue it later.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was really fun to learn and so simple. The real simple thing was just how you give your yarn a little twist.
Yeah.
Is there a way to put into words what that real simple thing was that you taught me?
Well, you right. So with Intarsia, you have...
Wait, may I actually try something? Yeah. May I try to explain Intarsia as I understand it, having had one little explanation from you? I would love to try to explain what it means to me, because this was the first I learned of it. And then you can... Okay. Intarsia is a type of knitting where you use more than one color. And you can do shapes and images, you can do words, you can do designs, but rather than like in stranded color work where you start the color at a point and do a pattern of some kind and continue holding that color of yarn across the garment or item until you're done with that color. With Intarsia, you create like individual balls or bobbins of the colors, and you start and finish with them at each discrete section of the design that requires that color, resulting in, for example, the ability to knit a white sweater with a big red barn in the middle with brown window panes and a yellow duck off to the side and a little blue pool for the duck to splash in and maybe a little tree. Okay, so you take over now, because I think I kind of...
Yeah, you got it started so well, and I think everything you said is correct. And a way that I thought of to help further illustrate it through words is that, like in a stranded... With stranded color work that we were talking about earlier, for example, that's good if you want to have a motif like going around your whole sweater that is like little teddy bears, let's say. And so here's a teddy bear and then another teddy bear and another one and another one and another one, and they're going all the way around. But if you want to make a sweater that's one big teddy bear right in the middle, I don't know why I picked teddy bear.
I love it. It's cute.
But one big one right in the center, then you would use Intarsia, because you're not bringing the colors all the way around the garment, you're just keeping them right here, and they're going back and forth, and as you go to switch to the next color, you twist the yarns together so that you don't have a hole there. And it's kind of I feel like it's a technique. Intarsia is a technique that was really popular in like the 70s and 80s, I feel like. Again, not a knitting scholar, just an enthusiast. I mean, especially before like mass production of like children's clothing that might have, for example, like a character on it from TV or movies, right? So a parent or a grandparent would be like, oh, you like Mickey? I'll knit you a Mickey sweater. You like, Ninja Turtle? I'll knit you a Ninja Turtle sweater. And so in order to put this big character on the front, you have to do Intarsia. And it is fiddly, and some people really hate it. But I feel like people who hate it have never tried it. I'm not sure. But I can't help, and again, this is my own personal theory, that like as all clothing has become so much more mass-produced and fast fashion is what it is, this technique has sort of fallen out of favor, because if your kid wants a bluey sweater, you just buy it from Target for $10. You don't have to like go to your local yarn store and create community.
I know.
And buy the chart, or, you know, get out your colored pencils and your graph paper and figure it out and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, that is,
But
it is what
if
it
you're
is.
but if you're doing it that way, what are you really doing with your life? You know? So stranded color work, there was my Intarsia. I would like to learn stranded color work first.
And what's your like dream project for that, or what? Or there doesn't have to be one. You can just be a process knitter. But if there's a product that you're wishing for, what is that?
I mean, okay, before I saw your cardigan from last week, and before I started looking at like K facet stuff, my dream project was the Let Lopey sweaters and patterns and is it a style?
Well,
is
so
it a yarn? It's a yarn.
The Let Lopey is an Icelandic yarn
Okay.
that is almost unspun.
Okay.
And it's sold in a plate, is the way that it's called, a plate of yarn.
Okay.
Sometimes it's called Pluto Lopi, which I think is like a plate of Lopi yarn. And it's can be very hard to knit with if you're a new knitter, I will say. So I once like knew someone who was just learning how to knit, and she went to the yarn store and she told them she was a new knitter, and they sold her a plate like rather than a ball, right? It comes in this disc shape of Lopi yarn, and she was having the hardest time, and I was like, you know what, I'm really mad at that yarn store, because this is not beginner yarn. Like, you could handle it now, Elyssa, but I'm just saying, if it's like your first project, please do not buy this yarn. Anyhow, sorry, I went off on a little tangent, but the kind of sweater is, I believe, called a Lopapeysa.
Lopapeysa.
I think Lopapeysa. I don't know, but it's like that, and I'll link it in the show notes.
Beautiful. I feel like I get sent to another land creatively and like mentally. I feel like when people meditate and they're like, what's your happy place? When I look at these patterns, I feel that similar like meditative transportation to like, I can like feel myself knitting it. I can feel myself in a place where I'm wearing. I've just had it on my radar for ages. I have a couple of patterns saved that I would just love to do. I want it. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Just dive in. You know that, I mean, that kind of yarn is very affordable. So there's like a pretty low price of entry. You know what I'm saying?
Why is that? Besides like authenticity, is there also a specific reason that yarn is used for these sweaters? Is it because that yarn has a certain texture which gives crispness to the way that they design their patterns?
So it's this unspun yarn. It's like it's combed, and it's in a strip. It's like a strip of wool, but so you have to knit it really carefully or it just breaks, right? It just falls apart in your hands. And it creates this very lofty fabric. It is also rustic. Like, in my experience, it can be kind of scratchy, but I'm sure there are different, kinds. And it, so because it's like very fuzzy, it has a lot of halo, and the color work is actually kind of soft. Like, there's not a strong contrast. And the nature of the yarn is such that as you wear it, the wool will felt a little bit, and the different strands of yarn, for like if you're making color work yoke, for example, which is sort of the classic thing that one would do, the yarns get felted to each other a little bit. They're super warm, they're super lightweight.
Probably very waterproof wool too, like very water resistant wool more than cool. So I would want to do it. I would want to do it like that. I would want to do it. I would want to do it in that
give it
yarn.
a try at least.
Yeah.
If you're having this like Icelandic fantasy,
I had this
I think
dream.
you need to use some real Icelandic wool.
Yeah.
I think you need to like give yourself that gift.
I think I do too.
Go fully in. Well, hey.
Yeah.
There's something else we wanted to talk about today. Now might be a good time to chat.
Let's talk about the bird colony knit along, shall we?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
This came onto my radar because I saw the adorable little knitted bird.
Yeah.
So we started to look into it a little bit, and grabbed the free patterns, and we're getting excited. You know, Lydia and I have a little knitting group of friends, just 4 of us, that we're casually meeting up now and then. And we do have a group thread with the 4 of us where we share what we're excited about and things like that. And so finally, instead of continuing to leave it on my radar and not talk about it, I grabbed the downloadable flyer, how nifty, and I sent it in our group. It's very bright and colorful, and I sent it in the group and I said, who wants to knit a seabird colony together? Mm-hmm. Which is what KAL stands for, knit along, right?
along.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Does it? Okay. So here's the caption on what I sent. Starlit Knits writes, the hashtag Bird Colony KAL has launched. Run by Knit for Wildlife over the summer, June to August, the Bird Colony KAL will create an international seabird colony, knitted and living in pockets and on bags and all over the world. It's a simple pattern with plenty of room for experimenting in personal design. Knit an eider or your favorite seabird and tag Knit for Wildlife and use the hashtag Bird Colony KAL. So she shows hers, so sweet, and there's also this beautiful flyer which we'll put in the show notes that explains what's going on. I think the idea is we're making a bird, we're taking it around with us, and we're starting conversations.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these birds are very much in trouble.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I was really moved to action by reading an article about Rockaway Beach and a couple of surrounding beaches in that area where we live, in Brooklyn and Queens. There are little seabirds called Piper plovers. I think they're called
Piping plovers.
Piping plovers. They are highly endangered, and I think in fact they're like also federally recognized as endangered. And there are, I think, only 8,000 in the world, and a mere 100 of them make their home somewhere on our beaches in the summer and try to have their babies there. And the government had closed the beach to help them nest. And it was like all you would hear about, these residents who were just like, are you kidding me? Like, tell them and make their nest somewhere else. And we were like, oh my gosh, not the plovers. So those are the ones that are on my radar.
We're learning.
Yeah.
But I think that's the idea of the KAL, right? Is like to inspire people to learn more about these birds. Because birds are really important. And learn about how we can, you know, do advocacy work. Yeah, support them. And learning about what are the seabirds or like aquatic birds in our areas. Make a little charm that looks like them. And like Elyssa was saying, have these conversations with people, because you don't know until you know.
And one more thing I forgot to mention, in case you're not watching this, the little birds are just that, very little birds, and so you don't have to go out and get a yarn or look for anything. It's designed to be a little, like, think of a keychain charm or something. You know, maybe you have some yarn in your stash that is the color of the bird you want to knit. Maybe you don't. Maybe yours is wacky. I also do know that, well, I think I know that Knit for Wildlife does a little sweepstakes or, like, you know, fun kind of thing. I think there are a few different categories of, like...
Yeah.
Have you seen this, Lydia?
There
just
are different
to, like...
contest categories.
Yeah.
Are there prizes?
I'm not sure.
Find
but...
out.
We'll find out, but I think for me, the prize is like to have a whole album full of wacky pictures of this bird I knitted going all over New York. That's cool. So so that's that for now. And then please do message. This seems fun, you know. I really like to see what people are working on, and especially when it's for something that really matters, you know. Yeah, like the plovers. It matters so much. I just can't remember its name, darn it. Looks like a little cotton ball on sticks. It's so cute. Really cute. So cute. Yeah.
Very cute bird.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're really looking forward to knitting our birds and seeing how cute they are, and we will share them as we make them. And in the meantime, we'd love for you guys to consider checking out this KAL and joining us. And you can find lots of information about that at the Knit for Wildlife Instagram page. And they also have a great website with lots of information. And then their knitting advisor is Libby at Starlit Knits on Instagram. And of course, I'll link all of that. And if you decide to make your own bird, you can use the hashtag BirdColonyKal, KAL, knit along, right? Mm-hmm. Bird Colony KAL, so that we can all create these birds together.
Yeah, I, for one, will be asking Lydia when I get to a part of the pattern that doesn't necessarily make sense to me. I will be going to her with my knitting questions, and I've heard her say before, I think it was on air, come to me with your knitting questions. I love it. I want to answer them. I want to hear more. So I'm just going to, on her behalf, give an open call here today to say, like, yeah, start knitting. If you get hung up, send us a DM or an email. We've gone over it. DM us at our Instagram at Procrastiknittingpod, or send us an email at procrastiknittingpod@gmail.com.
That's right.
We can spell it now, you guys. People get it. So anyway, yeah, flood us with questions. It will probably help me too, because I don't always know what kind of questions I need to ask. I just know that I'm confused, and your questions might actually help me too.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your knitting questions, or like if there's anything you're really excited about, or like a pattern that you want to show us. Could be something beautiful, could be something horrible. We want to see it all. We want to hear about it all.
Totally. Okay, so I think when we wrap up this recording, I think I might dive into my bird. I might try to knit myself a little bird. I'm going to dig into my stash and find something cute.
You're ready.
And I'm going to print the pattern out, because it's either that or I have to knit the last 4 decreased rows of my cardigan and do the Italian bind off, and that will take me hours, and I just don't have time for that right now. So I think it's a bird. It's a bird for me.
Cute.
I'm going to put a bird on it. What are you going to be off to until next time?
You know what? I really want to try to finish this port jacket. It's a silly time to finish a big wool cardigan because it's like 90 degrees here. Yeah. But I love it, and I'm ready for it to be complete, so that I can start my next thing. Because I actually when I bought the yarn to finish this cardigan, I also bought a child's sweater's worth of this really pretty blue Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, and I think I'm gonna use it. I'm not sure yet, but I'm gonna knit a new sweater for my 4-year-old, almost 5-year-old, for the fall. And I'm just feeling like that yarn is calling my name. So, but I'm holding I've got to finish this one first, and then I can dive into this next project. I think I'm gonna do something with like texture. Ooh. Like, there's a petite knit pattern I have my eye on. So we'll see. I'm not sure yet. I'm deciding. Or maybe I'll do stranded color work. I don't know. It could be anything. Have you looked at the Tin Can Knits website and all of their patterns?
Yes, maybe, but maybe. Shall I do that again?
They are sort of known for some really great color work that's very beginner friendly. And most of their patterns go from like newborn to adult sizes. The whole range of humanity And so that could be a nice place to start. They're very clearly written. They're just really high quality patterns.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to have to acquire some new yarn, though. What do we think?
We might have to go to Cleo's.
We might.
Another great yarn shop in Brooklyn.
Oh, gosh, I can't wait.
We might do a different knitting thing this weekend.
Oh, yeah. The Prospect Park and Knit in Public.
Yeah, there's a knitting meetup this weekend.
I think it's actually National Knit in Public Day.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, okay, so by the time you're hearing this, it will have been yesterday that happened.
Yeah.
That hope you celebrated. But yeah, I'm in a WhatsApp group for it actually, and my gosh, it's very active. And it's a huge community. My little knitting circle of like you and two of our friends has turned into like 200 people. The hive mind is here.
I know. It's fun to be like, oh yeah, there's like tons of knitters, huh? We don't know about each other always. But,
yeah.
But yes, we might go to that. That could be fun. I hope it's not too hot. And if we go, we'll report back.
Yeah.
Maybe. What it was like.
Maybe you can spend that time, if it is too hot, just casting on my nice light linen yarn, as you said you would.
Yeah, I am going to do that.
Because that won't keep you too hot. Okay, great. So I think we have an episode here.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that full circle moment. In the beginning, Lydia, you talked about how very much there is to learn about the podcasting realm. And I agree. And one of the things that we're learning, and that I learned last night for several hours, is that when you record in one place and then push your podcast out to other places, it doesn't always keep all of your creative choices intact. The integrity sometimes has changed. So we are pushing them through manually this week. So that means, what does that mean? Doesn't matter. None of what I said before matters. Here's what matters for you. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can also find us on Spotify, if that's where you listen to podcasts. People with Androids who don't have Apple Podcasts, they listen on Spotify. A lot of people, as it turns out, watch their podcasts on YouTube. This is a thing. If you want to see us, if you want to see what we're working on and what we're doing, you can also find us there at Procrastiknitting with Elyssa and Lydia. Just search the word procrastinating and you'll find us. I believe in you.
Yeah, you'll find it.
No matter what, there's going to be great, great content for you, whether it's on Apple, on Spotify, on YouTube, or we'll put our numbers on our Instagram page and you can give us a call and we can just chat the night away.
Write it on a billboard, babe.
Yep. For a good knitting time, call 867-5309. That's Jenny's number.
I know.
Okay.
That poor girl.
I know. Well, I think that's it. I love you.
All right. Love you too. Talk to you later.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
XOXO.